Y'all know one of my non-negotiables that's really dumb, but I'm gonna stand on it. I don't care. I don't want to take care of his mama. I'm so sorry. I understand you're generous, you're kind, you have a very great heart. You really do. You won't be mine. Nope. Nope. Your mama is what? 50? Why she ain't got no job? The retirement age 65. Last time I checked. Oh, okay. Get out there to the workforce, babe. My is not your sole provider.
A lot of men will hear this and be offended by what she just said, but what I'm getting from this video is this woman speaking on how she's not willing to deal with son husbands. A lot of single mothers raise daughters that no man will want. They lack femininity. And a lot of single mothers, they also raise sons that no woman will want. And this right here is just one of the ways they manipulate and sabotage their sons. Think about it. The single mother, she'll be masculine herself, no femininity, strong, independent, don't need a man for nothing because her whole life she's been taken care of by either the government with their housing systems, or she's been getting child support, or she's worked at a government job or some corporation that allowed her to move throughout life without needing to have a man around financially. Either way, she has support there, usually backed by the government in some way, whether it was welfare, the court system, or a government job, or a man, something. They will work this plan out in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and then when they hit 50, most of them strong, independent women who never really did anything on their own for real, they've gone years without having to be on a man's program, but they've been on the man's program, and those hard-headed, rebellious women, they grow older. Their kids turn into adults, and then they expect for their kids to be their man, especially their sons. Yeah, I'm talking about all those 1986 I don't need a man women. In 2022, they're in their 50s and 60s, and now they've become a burden to those kids. You know, they're so selfish, they never really had a plan, they don't really care what they're doing. They use mother manipulation to maintain control over their kids to get them to do whatever it is they want them to do. Doesn't matter if what she's wanting her son or daughter to do, if it's going to negatively impact them. They could care less about their other obligations. For their son husbands, they don't care if he has a woman or his kids or anything. They will have to come second to her. She's mama and she believes that she's supposed to be first. You know, this concept is very out of order. But of course, you have a lot of people, they see nothing wrong with this because they've already been programmed to accept this disorder for decades now. By now, the adult kids, they're at least in their 30s, so they would have gone 30 plus years being groomed for their mother's program. And then a lot of them, that's the only reason why they have kids in the first place, because they know they couldn't keep a man around. They've been using their kids their whole lives to gain benefits and to be able to get through life, only to turn around and use those same kids again as adults to also financially make them responsible as well. Having a man was never the plan. They're too mean, too combative, too strong, and too manly themselves. They couldn't keep a man, but they knew they could have kids and raise them to care for them in a way so that they can dump all their issues on them as they got older. It's really not right. So then these son husbands, they grow up and they get into relationships with women. And here's where the struggle comes in. You now have two women competing for the number one spot in his life. You have his woman, his wife, which is his single mother, who's been carrying on like she's his wife since he was at least 7 years old. And then you have his mistress, or his wife number two, who is really his actual wife. The real wife is looking around like, what in the world is going on? And yes, it's a battle. It's a constant battle. The only time I see situations like this work out is if there is a lot of money involved, meaning the man, he's got to number one, be the breadwinner. Number two, he's got to have a lot of bread, at least enough bread to take care of himself, his wife, their kids, pay all the mother's bills too, and not just the basics. He's got to be able to pay for the holidays, the vacations, the birthdays, all the extracurricular stuff for his wife and kids. I mean, he cannot miss a beat and still provide medical, retirement, emergency funds for the family. For this to truly work, he has to be able to fully provide for his family 100% before a penny is invested in somebody else's house. If you're struggling in this way financially, and we're talking about if his mother is an able-bodied woman, she's not disabled, she's able to go and work, that woman, his mother, she cannot be at home sitting on her behind thinking her son is supposed to retire her early at 50, 60 years old. Retirement age is between 66 and 67 years old. But a lot of them, they want to live like housewives, but be strong, independent women. It doesn't work like that. If you make the life choice of being strong and independent, you have to carry that through. You can't get tired at 50 and 60 years old and think that your kids are supposed to retire you. No, you have to put in the work and retire yourself. That's a part of being strong and independent and doing it all by yourself. See, if she had a husband there, even if the income is limited, it will be 2, not 1. Now, another way that this situation can work is if the wife had no issue with his mother moving in with them and she's living under the same roof as him and his family. But if that were to happen, the mother, she's going to have to humble herself. She's not in charge of anything. And after the husband, the wife will come next. But yeah, with situations like this, if the mother, she's living in her own household and her son is having to go and pay for her bills too, and he really can't afford to be doing this. And honestly, the only type of woman that would be cool with that arrangement will be a woman that came to you with a bunch of liabilities herself. So she wouldn't have much room to complain because she's doing the same thing to you that your mama is doing. Basically, everybody will just use you to take care of all their issues. That's not really your responsibility. That's why situations like this, they're just out of order. And then you may have some men who say, well, if she can't accept me paying all my mama's bills, then she has to go because that's my mama. And cool, that's fine. You stay with your mama then. Just let your mama be your wife. But for average people, this does not work. If you're making about $50,000 per year, or even above average at $75,000 or $100,000 per year, you really don't have enough money to take care of multiple women, including your mama. Your mama is going to have to live within her means on her own income. I think as these single mothers age though, these independent, strong boss women, they have to figure out a plan for themselves. You can't go around talking about being strong and independent in your Oprah years and then have no plan during your golden years. So yeah, I understand where this woman is coming from. I see both sides here. Although some may not like how harsh it is, she was telling the truth. Women out here, they're not going to want to deal with you son husbands and your mama. You have to make up your mind. Are you ready for a woman, or do you still want to be your mama's man? And just like she sabotaged you or your other siblings, toxic mothers can and will use mother manipulation to sabotage your wife and kids. And ladies, really, you should not be dating son husbands. You will never be able to change the dynamic between him and his mama. He's been programmed for decades. By the time you meet him, he's already been programmed for years, and it's nothing that you can really do. He's the one that's going to have to put his foot down and set those boundaries between him and his mama, not you. If you try to step in any way, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be out of order. So you either stay and put up with his first wife, his mama, or you save yourself the headache and don't even deal with this. Being respectful to his mama is one thing, but him allowing his mama to control and manipulate him, that's another thing. It's not the same. And people, men and women, they get that mixed up. If you see these characteristics, you can bring it to his attention, give him a chance to figure out the situation. In the meantime, you do not get married, you do not get pregnant, and if you don't see any changes in these issues, you need to go. But always remember, if you decide to stay, make a future with him, you have to just deal with it because you're accepting those terms and conditions. Those terms and conditions will include his entitled toxic mother. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. As the independent single mothers age, are they going to become a burden for their children and possibly mess up their chances of having a healthy relationship? Also, if you want to check out the 1986 I Don't Need a Man crew, parts 1 through 3, I will leave the links below. Special thank you to our brother Dark Power, who's always showing support for the channel. I appreciate you. Want to see more content like this? You can support the channel too. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.